Another edition of the Signatures and Finishers podcast. I'm Mills D as well. You guys got to excuse me because before I came out, I was stuffing my face with chicken fried rice. I haven't eaten since I don't know what time. Been a minute. Shout out to everyone who's ready for this holiday season. Shout out to everyone who's a wrestling fan. Shout out to everybody. So joining me today, as always, the champ himself. Not only is he a tag team champ, but he is your war heavyweight champ. The ruler, the genius, Jamie.
I was gonna say I'm smaller than Samoa Joe, so
I thought y'all about the same height.
So what'd you think of Full Gear?
Full Gear was not a bad show, actually.
No.
It was probably one of their overall, to me, one of their best shows they put on this year. I enjoyed the Mercedes Moné and Chris Statlander match. Now, I mean, you months ago had talked about this match, and we all thought that Mercedes was going to go over because of the direction they were heading. But for them to pull the trigger and get Chris Statlander the victory, that I enjoy that. And kind of sound like the crowd was kind of behind Mercedes for some reason. It's like the fans are flip flopping.
Well, the problem with the whole thing is you have her winning all these titles and trying to make it sound like it's impressive, and we've talked about it before. Mm-hmm. She's winning all these titles in other companies that I don't care how hardcore of a wrestling fan you are, you don't know most of these companies. You might know some of the regional ones if you live in that area specifically, but other than that, you don't know most of the titles that she has from these companies. You give her the TNT title, but then you won't have her win the women's heavyweight title. So it kind of negates her having all those other titles to begin with. Now, trust me, I'm happy she lost because I think she's the most one-dimensional women's wrestler on any of the major promotions. There's no substance to her character whatsoever. So Chris Statlander needs to have a good run with the belt. I'm very happy she won. Maybe they'll actually do something with her and give her a solid run. But it just having Mercedes Moné lose just kind of negates her having all those other titles. It'd be one thing if she had like the AEW women's title and she went and wrestled, somebody from WWE. Like if she went against my God, I'm drawing a blank. Who has the women's titles right now? Oh, if she wrestled like Jade Cargill, for instance. And if she lost to Jade, it'd be like, okay, no harm, no foul. She still got all these other titles. She's still the AEW women's champ. But you have the minor belt in the women's division. You don't have the upper belt, but then you have all these other titles. And it's just like, it doesn't make any sense. And they just need to drop the whole thing at this point. Build up a real feud inside your own company with Chris Statlander or whoever beats Chris Statlander, because all these other titles are irrelevant.
Yeah. I'm actually kind of happy that she didn't win the title. And to me, it kind of makes it better because you can actually somewhat build up your champion and make her relevant. Even if Chris Statlander loses the title down the road to somebody else, other Mercedes, make Mercedes wait for that title. We know she's going to give it. Make her wait just a little longer. She doesn't need it right away. And if you want to elevate the women's division, okay, have some of your top women be champion. Let Mercedes carry the TNT championship. Or you can have Mercedes drop the TNT championship and just elevate the women's division around her. And when it's time for her to have a title, you put it on her. But she doesn't need it right now.
Well, it would be a bad look if she had all the titles in the company.
Yeah,
in the women's division. Like, it just says that we don't have any trust in any of you, and we're just waiting for her to carry us through.
Yeah. That's why I'm a big fan of just build the division up, put the title. Who probably next? Now, let's say if it's If they call back Britt Baker,
She's supposed
uh,
to be coming back.
yeah. Well,
I
I
think
guess
they're going to make her wait a long time. She's going to have to earn everything back. You're going to see somebody like Julia Hart or somebody like that get that spot.
that'll be nice. Julia Hart,
Hmm.
Megan Bain, Tekra. Let them carry the TNT title, or let one of them be the women's champion, world champion. It'd be better for the division to build them up before you get Mercedes. Because once Mercedes get the title, it's going to be the same as. Well, you hope it doesn't be the same as her TNT run, where she just went through the whole locker room, and I don't want to see that.
Well, they need to be building up the women's division more. They can't just keep relying on hiring talent from outside the company to come in.
Yeah, that's it's called
So
developing your own talent.
you need to have some of that homegrown love and homegrown talent. Um, I mean, it's something WWE pushes constantly. I won't say they do the best with them of getting them to the main event stage, but they are constantly bringing in. They just brought in a new crop of people that I was reading about a couple days ago. Some track star from one of the colleges and a wrestler and somebody else. But their women's division needs a lot of help.
You know, once upon a time, AEW had the best women division
Hmm.
because their division was mixed of women that we never heard of, but women who's out here just want to put on a good show for the fans, and they built them up.
Yep.
And once that division was good and all was good, what do? They started signing outside the town, outside of AEW. What I mean is they start signing talent in the WWE. And once you start bringing women from the WWE over, or Stardom or CML, wherever they came from, it kind of watered down the division. You,
I don't even know if that's their fault specifically. Tony's way of booking things just doesn't make a lot of sense a lot of times. Like we talk about with Wardlow, he'll use somebody, and then just be like, go sit at home for a while." Like he'll take them when they're hot, and then just go cool off for a while for no reason. There's reports that some people say he's really hard to work with. There's other people that say he's the best thing in the world as far as like relations and booking and things like that. But it's I don't really like the way he handles talent because he overuses people. I mean, look at Swerve Strickland. Like that guy was running on E. John Moxley's constantly running on E. Like you've got to have a balance of like give him a little time off TV, a week or two. But I don't know. That's getting into the nitty gritty. Having Swerve back now is good because again, when you don't have Swerve, you don't have Will Ospreay. That's like two of your heavy hitters. I mean, if MJF would have been out, you've got all three of your main heavy hitters off TV. That's not going to work.
yeah,
But getting him back will be a nice lift. Um, but no, I liked Full Gear. It was solid. My biggest concern was the Mercedes Monet Chris Statlander match. Um, Joe and Paige was great. I mean, as you would expect, Hangman Page again. He's a guy like I have nothing against him. I think he's a good wrestler, but he's not a guy that's going to carry your company.
yeah. But you know what though? To be honest, I am kind of shocked they took the title off of him this soon, close to the end of the year. I would have figured about January they would have took it off of him.
I think they're setting something up for Hook. I really
His
think
heel
that's what it
turn.
is. Yeah. I think it's really just setting up Hook because it's taken longer than I thought it would for him to actually get into the main event picture. And I really think that's really what this is just setting up Hook to make that leap up into the main event.
Now, I think that was kind of more creative, but also Hook been injured. He's been
Yeah.
out,
Yeah.
so I was kind of shocked that Hook actually. I was shocked they turned Hook heel, just in the fact that early on the day he was with Eddie Kingston, and I want to say for a while now they've been pairing him with Eddie Kingston, and I kind of scratched my head like why would you pair paired these two guys together, you can tell they had no chemistry. This wasn't working. Now, I am glad they pulled the trigger, but I was kind of hoping, early in the day when we see them two together, maybe not pull this trigger on that show, but it worked out.
Yeah, and like when you're looking at somebody, when you want to take somebody like Hook to the main event, do you think it's going to work better and sell tickets and get attention better when it's somebody like Hook versus Swerve, or Hook versus Page, or Hook versus Joe?
Makes sense.
Hook versus Joe to me is my number one. Hook versus Swerve is my number two. Hook versus Page,
But that's what they're going
I
with.
could pass.
But that's what they're gonna go with, Hook versus Page.
I think initially, yeah, because that's going to be the transition of getting him into the main event. To either have him turn on Joe or Swerve and Joe will have it out. Swerve will get the title and then he'll make the jump against Swerve. Again, I could be completely off base, but I have a good feeling that that's probably what it is.
Yeah, and the one thing that actually got me was that when Swerve came back, and I'm glad Swerve was back because when Swerve was on TV, AEW is a better product.
Mm-hmm.
The simple fact that Swerve didn't turn, and you had him and Adam Page standing side by side in the ring, that's something that a lot of us never thought that we'll see. But now we've seen that, and it kind of gets me thinking, like, so are these two guys going to be a team now? Is this going to be both of these guys going to be pairing up together?
It'll probably be your next main event for the next pay per view that they have. It'll be Page and Swerve versus Hook and Joe. That's probably what your next main event for the pay per view is going to be. Um, that way they can start to sow those seeds deep into the story and kind of get that set up that way. Um, but overall, the setup is good. I mean, bringing Swerve back, he had to come back because I mean their ratings haven't been all that hot lately.
No.
Because again, you're missing out on some of your top tier guys. So, um, the whole issue with not having Jericho there, that's still in limbo. Tony Khan talked about that. You've got to have somebody that's going to draw people in there, and right now he's your number one guy. Because I even
Yeah.
think MJF has cooled off a good chunk.
No, he hasn't. And then that's another thing. Like, so we're gonna have to figure it out how MJF gonna play in this whole situation because he still has that contract.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, when he comes back from doing his movie shoot, how you gonna fit in the title picture? We got Samoa Joe, new champion.
MJF versus Hook would be a real good time.
Did they wrestle once before already?
I think they did. I think they did. But I'm just saying, like an actual main event feud with the title on the line, you get some good matches there.
You would. It's just I don't know. Are we talking about Hook staying heel or MJF going face?
It would be Hook. Hook probably being face at that point. I don't think MJF ever wants to be a baby face.
I would not want him to be a baby face again.
No, it's you even talk about or you see it in interviews and people doing like videos on Instagram and stuff. When you meet MJF just at a convention or at an airport or anything, he stays in character the 100% of the time. So I don't think he has any desire to ever want to be a baby face. He enjoys it too much. Because again, I think personally, I think it's easier to be a heel than it is a face. Because you could be a dick all the time for no reason. I mean, you don't have to put on the smiles and sure, I'll sign your autograph or any. No, I don't want to. Go away. Like I just think it's naturally easier, especially now with as prevalent as social media and stuff is. Just to stay in character all the time is just so much easier.
Oh, definitely. So AEW on that night, introduced everybody to the national championship, and which was
Ugliest
won,
belt of all time.
yeah, won by which guy?
Ricochet.
I can't call him Ricochet. I mean, he always gonna
King
be
Puma?
Ricochet. What did you call him?
King Puma?
King Puma. Yeah. So Ricochet, aka King Puma, won the national championship belt that was introduced at AEW Full Gear. And look, man, it's just way too many belts. You don't need another belt. You know what? Be honest. If they was going to introduce anything, maybe introduce something like a cruiserweight title.
I think if they did something like the X Division title, which even
Yeah,
TNA has gotten away from what the X Division title meant.
that that was their bread and butter.
Oh yeah, that was the best wrestling right there.
Yeah,
During that time when they actually focused on what the X Division was, that was next to the Attitude Era, the best time in wrestling. But no, I would 100% agree. If they came up with something similar to what the X Division title, it doesn't have to even be a cruiserweight title per se, but just that group of guys that fit into that style of wrestling, the high flyers, the over the tops, the Will Ospreys that, they'll spend a 30-second rotation of just doing flips and countering each other. Brian Danielson would have fit into that. Ricochet fits into that. Will Ospreay fits into that. You got a whole group of guys over there that fit into that. Um,
yeah. You could have
and
put
maybe
Diamond
that's what that
Riley in there.
title, maybe that's what that title will turn into. But that thing is hideous. Have you actually looked at what the belt looks like up close in screenshots?
Yeah, I was
It
about
is
to pull it up.
ugly. It looks like some late 70s, early 80s style NWA title, or even like an AWA or Smoky Mountain belt from back in the day.
Let's see. Dang.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
wow.
not pretty. It is not pretty, especially when you compare it to like the TV or the heavyweight title for AEW. It is an ugly belt.
Damn. That's. I'll take one of my homemade cardboard box belts over that one.
Yeah, it is. It is not pretty to look at. But that match was solid too, all the way around. And I'm happy Ricochet got something because that dude's been wrestling his ass off for years and just not getting anything.
Right. And I think Ricochet. Sorry about that. I had to call. I think the thing with Ricochet is that Ricochet deserving to be a title. He's been one of the few wrestlers who get caught up in the numbers game. Because it's a lot of wrestlers. It don't matter what company he been in, all deserve to be a champion. It's unfortunate that he get caught up on those number games. He's probably the one guy who got the worst luck with the number games. And unfortunately, now he has a title, which he's the inaugural champion on and for. And I kind of think the title was just made for him.
I mean, it looked like the WWE Speed title was made just for him too. He was the inaugural champion of that one too.
He was.
But I wish that thing would just disappear. Like those titles are just dumb. Are
The
they still doing
internet
that on
champion.
Twitter or whatever, or did they move
Yes.
that?
No.
Okay, because I know they like took it off for a couple weeks or something, and then I read something and got defended somewhere. I was like, if there was one belt I don't ever care about, that's it right there. Um, it'll be interesting to see what they do with his first like feud with the title. Will kind of give you a good idea of what they want to do because like each title in every company they kind of give it like its own definition. Like the world heavyweight title in WWE, that's the workman's championship. It's basically what the intercontinental title used to be back in like the 80s and 90s. You gave the IC title to your best worker. Wasn't your top guy, it was your best worker. That's why it was Mr. Perfect, Bret Hart, guys like that held that belt for long periods of time. Gunther had the belt, for almost 2 full years. Um, so it'll be interesting to see how they kind of position that belt and on the tier list of how important it is. But at least they're giving him something like
Something. Hey,
something.
here we're gonna give you a title for all those backflips you've done over the last year or so. Here you go.
And that's really what it's going to come down to is how is he going to get booked? Is he going to get like main event booking with this title to where they actually build it into something, or is this just like a like you
Second.
said, hey, we're giving you something. It's a title that we're going to retire in 2 years, but here's something for you.
Yeah, and it's not like Ricochet been in bad matches because he actually, he beat Will Ospreay. He
Mm-hmm.
was part of the group that beat the Hurt Syndicate. He has been put on good matches, and he has put a lot of wrestlers over, and he has put himself over with the crowd. I mean, we talking about a guy who was a bona fide baby face for a longest period. Now who's a full blown fresh heel. Once he made that heel turn, he took his character to another level. So
Well,
yes,
and what's he been doing as a heel? He's been
yes,
talking. What was he criticized for in WWE?
not talking.
He couldn't talk. He couldn't cut a promo. You didn't let him. Let people be who they want to be, and that's one of the things of we were talking about a couple of weeks ago. If they want to make a star, they can make a star. If they want to bury you, they can bury you. One of the things about WWE, as everybody knows, unless you're one of their top guys like a John Cena that they know they can trust, you get a script.
If you can't get past the gatekeeper, you just forget about it.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying is you go out there and you say what they tell you to say until you reach that level. The Rock gets a lot of credit. Oh, The Rock's one of the greatest talkers of all time. He had his own personal writer. He wasn't that creative. For people that don't know that, he had his own personal writer that wrote all of his stuff. If you want to give people credit, you go back to Bret Hart promos in the late 90s, Steve Austin promos in the late 90s, early 2000s, Shawn Michaels promos, guys like that where they were trusted enough that they could go out there and say things. Steve Austin will admit he got to get away with things that other guys in the locker room couldn't even get away with because of his star status at the time. And to try and get away with things that he was saying now wouldn't happen because they're too public, too PC, too all that stuff. It would never fly. But getting a script, if they want to bury you, they can make you look like you don't know how to talk.
Oh yeah.
And again, if you don't know how to talk, they have ways to make you look good. Look at Roman Reigns. What do? They give him the best managerial talker of all time, and Paul Heyman. Like they have ways to make you look good. If they wanted Ricochet to succeed, they could have made him succeed. Saying he can't talk, and then he goes and all he does now is talk for the most part, and he's succeeding with it. So I wish him the best. He is still one of my absolute favorite wrestlers. I hope they push him into the main event scene at some point because I would love to see a Ricochet Swerve Strickland match. I would
Yeah,
love to see a Hooks Ricochet match. Would be great.
yes.
Um, there's a lot of them out there in
Hey, I would like to see
AEW.
the repeat him and Will Ospreay. I want to see Ricochet against Kyle O'Reilly. I want to see Ricochet in the ring with guys with similar skill set as him,
Mm-hmm.
or someone a bigger name. Like you said, we seen him in Swerve Strickland. That was a good match.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to see a repeat of that.
Him versus
Maybe
Hangman Page would be good too
yeah,
because he's
it
got to
would
be able
be.
to wrestle the guys that are bigger than him. Not
Yeah,
necessarily like a powerhouse Hobbs or something to that extent, but
nah,
like a Hangman Page.
yeah. Even to a certain degree, maybe uh him and Pac one be a great match.
Pac is like when Pac was going by Neville, Pac was great.
I'm just a fan, and I'm also one of those guys where I don't think Pac should be on the pre-show, but I get it. I don't like it, but I get it.
Well, isn't he one of the ones that was getting in trouble with Tony
Yeah,
for a while?
no, not really. Pac has not been healthy. He's been in and out of the ring, do injuries, nagging injuries, and he every time when you think that Pac is gonna take that next leap into okay, maybe will put the TNT title on you, he gets hurt. He was a trios champion. He was out for a long time, and they put John Moxley in his place, and they
Speaking of
lost
the
those
TNT
titles.
title, got a new champion.
Yeah, they do. So Mark Briscoe finally got a singles title. Well, technically, he was down in Ring of Honor. He had a singles title in Ring of Honor, but I don't think nobody cares about Ring of Honor no more. I love Ring of Honor, and I miss it. The old Ring of Honor. Mhm.
When you operate two companies the way that Tony's doing it, it doesn't make any sense. The best thing that he could do is sell that off to somebody that has the money to do something with it. Because all you're doing is you're just shifting all your AEW guys down there to put on matches. Like, that's really all he's doing.
Yeah, the talent he doesn't use. Hey, look, we're gonna send you the Ring of
It's
Honor.
it's different when I talk about WWE needs to bring back WCW and run it as an independent company. That means like have Heyman as your CCO, Chief Creative Officer, similar to what Triple H is. Have Heyman run the whole thing, operate it independently. If you're not going to have competition, you need to create your own competition because people are going to stop watching. Like that's what happens. And look at how bad their programming is. But the way Tony Khan is doing it, you're just taking all your guys and shifting them over. I mean, it's no different than WWE shifting their guys down to NXT to put on matches, or now, example, AAA. All they promote for AAA is the matches that have WWE wrestlers in them.
Yeah, I just seen Dominic Mysterio, and Americano in a tag team match.
Yeah, and then who was it? Just won the number one shot at the cruiserweight title. Beat Axiom. Oh, Javon Evans.
Javon Evans, yeah.
Yeah, Javon Evans. Like they don't promote the other AAA matches. They're only promoting the matches that have WWE guys in them. Like,
Yeah.
but they're both guilty of doing it. But the best thing that they could do with Ring of Honor is Tony needs to find somebody that has the money and the passion to do it and just sell it off and let them actually try and build something with it.
Yeah, to me, look, I just kind of feel that Tony Khan just really just crapping on the history of Ring of Honor.
I think he only bought them just to get their backlog of media to have the matches. That's really what I think he did it for.
What a waste! What a waste! But yeah, Mark Briscoe, new TNT TBS champion. Ooh, I say TNT.
It's because I said it. Yeah, TBS champion. Yeah,
Yeah,
I screwed it up.
yeah, he is the TNT champion. Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that is a wow for me, and it's well deserving. I'm just since you took the title off of Kyle Fletcher, what you do with Kyle Fletcher now? That's my whole point on this one.
I mean, the thought would be is that he would be moving towards the main event, but you've only got so much TV time.
Yeah.
And that's the problem is like to have a healthy, when you have a healthy promotion, when your mid card is so stacked. Obviously, everybody's trying to push their way up to the top, but the sign of a healthy promotion is when your mid card guys are content being in the mid card because they know their time is coming to get to the top, but they have healthy competition. They're getting paid well. They're drawing big numbers being in the mid card. Mr. Perfect never made a huge push to get into the main event scene. Never had to. Bret Hart, for all those years, never had to complain about getting into the main event because their mid card was so stacked. You could have put on main event pay per views back in the day with just their mid card guys and people wouldn't complain. AEW is kind of lacking that. They have a couple guys, and the thought would be Kyle Fletcher lost the belt, and it's just like when somebody leaves NXT. What happens? They don't go to NXT or they don't go to SmackDown or Raw with the NXT title. They drop the belt, they make the move. You would think dropping the belt, it's one thing if he was still going to be in a feud and pushing that back, and maybe that's what they are going to do is maybe keep Kyle Fletcher through the end of the year going back and forth with Mark Briscoe, but that seemed pretty definitive. That like that wrapped up, we're moving on. You would think Kyle Fletcher would be making the main event move. Maybe he does. Maybe he gets involved with the ops in some way, but I don't see how you're going to pull him out of the Callis family that quick and easy.
Side notes: if y'all see me blew a kiss, my wife was blew a kiss. She's outside the window actually. So
I figure you're trying to kiss the dog, but
no, 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 no. The dog don't like kisses. Not from me anyway. The only
that's
time the
fair.
dog like me while I'm outside, he go chase the cats and the squirrels and the possums. As long as he don't bring it to me, we okay. Um, yeah. So Kyle Fletcher, if he doesn't make, if he does make that, if they don't take him to that jump to the next level, that'll be the main event. I think that'll be, it'd be a crime in itself. And I do agree with everything you said. And running back with Mark Briscoe, I do kind of see that happening. Hey, look, because hey, let me get my rematch. But I don't want it to be a situation where he fight Mark Briscoe 3, 4, 5 times after he get his rematch for the title. I don't want to see that. But so logically, the next step would be in the main event scene. And especially if you want to continue the feud between him and Will Ospreay when Ospreay come back, where now you got two guys who are friends now arch enemies in the main event scene. Okay, he elevated. Now he's ready.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like the situation with Okada and Takesha. Takesha is trying to get to the main event scene in AEW, even though he is in main event scene in New Japan. Takesha will be a step below Okada because his Okada accomplishment, what he has done in professional wrestling, and actually from us because we have Okada at a higher standard with Takesha is coming. He's that young guy where he already knocked down the door, already kicked the door down, and now he just trying to take off, and he is trying to do that in the AEW, being that main event scene with all the top heavyweights. Fortunately, it's taking too long. And it's unfortunate because when we see Kyle Fletcher, who we know gonna take that next step, when Takesha was TNT champion, it served him no purpose, and he didn't even elevate. He stayed right where he was.
Yeah, and that was again Tony Khan booking. Again, he books a lot of stuff like a fan of just what he wants to see at the time instead of planning to tell a story. That's like my biggest complaint with AEW is that the booking is basically booking week to week instead of having an actual story you want to tell.
Yeah,
And they do book more for matches than story. It's kind of a different philosophy than WWE is supposed to be booking for long-term stories, not matches, where AEW it's more of booking for matches than story.
yeah. And a lot of times, their booking don't match their story at all. Matter of fact, that's all the time. it's like okay, so wait a minute, hold up. So you're telling me Kenny Omega is gonna fight Andrade for what?
Mm-hmm.
And look, I understand like a lot of AEW faithful, they just want to watch wrestling matches. I get it. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that you want to add a little story to the situation. You got to make it somewhat make sense.
Well, the story is what keeps people invested.
Yeah, and not only keep you invested, what's going to keep you on TV.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
AEW is far from perfect, but they're not in a bad spot right.
nah. We're gonna take a little break from AEW because I gotta get your response to your favorite wrestler, Bret Hart. Shout out to Bret Hart, by the way. Bret Hart has ever since he been retired. Bret Hart has been the Christmas. He's been Santa Claus to me. He will always give you what you want. He's the one guy. He's gonna tell you how you feel. He's gonna tell how it is, and he's gonna stand by it. He is not gonna double down from it. He's not. You can't. You can forget. You cannot. You can't persuade him at all. I love Bret Hart.
He's a man with convictions. That's all you can really say. He's a man with convictions, especially when it comes to Goldberg.
When it comes to Goldberg, when it comes to Vince McMahon, when it comes to Shawn Michaels.
So which one of his many interviews that he's done recently do you want some color commentary on?
2 days ago.
Oh boy.
At Cosmic Book News.
I don't think I know about this one.
Okay. All right. So I want you, I'm going to read this and I want you to respond the best way you can because
Oh
Bret
boy.
Hart is the gift that keeps on giving. During a recent appearance on YouTube, Bret Hart said he now believes Vince McMahon and Shawn Michaels were sleeping together during the
Oh, I
time of
did.
the Montreal Screwjob. According
I
to
did see
Bret, the behavior he witnessed, the emotion display, and the way both men acted around each other made him suspect something deeper was going on. Hart took it even further, saying he now believed he was caught between two lovers, according to him. Shawn Michaels wanted his spot, and Vince protected Shawn to the point that Bret thinks Michaels slept with Vince to get it. He said he will repeat it directly to both of them and has 100% convictions in his belief.
Okay, let me clear the air. First off, Bret Hart is not my favorite wrestler. Um, he's up there on the list, but he is not my favorite wrestler. I was actually thinking about that today, and I made a pretty big decision today on my favorite wrestler before I get into his comments. Undertaker is no longer my second favorite wrestler. He has been bumped to third.
Wow.
I've realized today Io Sky is officially my second all time favorite wrestler. So you got
Well,
Macho Man, Io Sky.
I'm not surprised that EO was bumped that high. I mean, she's in my top five.
I was watching the interview she did with Chris Van Vliet, and he was asking her where she got this whole thing from, and she was talking about the progression. I just made me realize, I'm like, she is my second favorite wrestler. Period. That's yeah, she is officially past the Undertaker. So,
Good for you, man. I'm glad you made that choice.
as far as those comments, I did see that one a couple days ago.
There's no right answer,
I
man. You can't even
I
comment on
wouldn't
it.
be surprised because I make the joke that Vince McMahon is the size queen. I mean, you go back and look at all the wrestlers from the '80s and '90s, and they're all these jacked, hulking guys. You'd look at Shawn Michaels and say Shawn Michaels ain't that big. Shawn Michaels compared to a normal sized guy, Shawn Michaels is a giant. Yeah, he's only 6'1", but he was pretty jacked. Like
Hickenbottom.
arms, shoulders. Yeah, Michael Hickenbach. You know, he's actually a pretty built dude back then, and Vince is clearly all about his size guys, so wouldn't surprise me. I mean, Sean was coked up out of his mind back then, so
I'm
maybe
just, I'm
wouldn't be
just,
surprised. On a scale of 1 to 10, how likely do I think it could be? I'd say a solid 7.5 to an 8. Could that just be, deep seated resentment that he still just wants to talk trash? 100%.
I love Bret Hart. I do. I do. He he's the gift that keeps on giving. And I just thought that he just hated Hulk Hogan and Goldberg, but damn. But wait a minute. Another Bret Hart news.
I think this is the one that I think you were probably, in my head, you were going to refer to.
WWE's Bret Hart praises professional Brock Lesnar.
Hmm.
Shades Goldberg. See, let me tell you guys something about Bret Hart. Bret Hart, in all seriousness, Bret Hart is petty. Bret Hart will hold a grudge to the grave. He can apologize. Hey, you guys can make up. You got, but hey, look, man, I'm sorry. Are we good? Yeah, we good. You're not good. Bret Hart gonna hold that grudge. That's what keeps Bret going, and I love it. That's what keeps Bret entertained. I love it. That's what keeps Bret being Bret. I love it. He
Okay, to
is
be devil's
petty,
advocate,
huh?
to that, you got screwed on a pay-per-view. Like everybody in the world knows you blatantly got screwed. The whole thing's been uncovered. You know you got screwed. Your brother got killed by the same company. Your family members got trashed by the same company. Like he's got a lot to be resentful for. So
But
I
think
don't
about it.
fault him for it.
But think about it. Think about it. This probably go beyond all that. This go probably beyond when he was supposed to beat Yokozuna for the title, but Vince McMahon changed his mind and put Hulk Hogan out there. That probably go way beyond that. I mean, the hatred.
WrestleMania 9 is legendary. Hulk Hogan
Yes,
coming out with his black eye to beat up Yokozuna.
yeah. And I wonder what was going through the mind of Bret Hart when he was seeing his title being put around the one guy he hates more than. Well, I don't know. Is him Hogan? Is the late Hulk Hogan and Goldberg on the same scale of hate on for Bret Hart?
I think he still hates Goldberg more because Goldberg cut his career short.
Yeah,
Hogan stifled him, but Goldberg literally cut his career short.
right. And remember, Bret Hart, dead or alive, you get the same. You get the same juice. Dead or alive, you will get the same juice.
I mean, there's no question the two biggest career killers in pro wrestling were Hulk Hogan and Shawn Michaels. Like
Yes.
nobody can dispute that. Like there's proof, there's examples, there's just general public knowledge. Vader had his entire career killed because of Shawn Michaels, because of one match.
And
Hogan stifled the achievement of how many wrestlers in WCW. That's not even counting 80s Hulk Hogan, where he just wouldn't lose to anybody, period, at all.
nah, and devil's advocate here. It was Hogan and Vince.
To a certain
And
degree, and that's where the
yeah,
short sightedness comes from.
yeah. And unfortunately for Hogan, Vince woke up like, we can't have you be champion. Okay, I'll leave.
The point when Hogan left, people were super sick of Hulkamania.
Yeah.
Like, I can tell you, you're a couple years older than me. I was not a Hulk Hogan fan. When I was a little kid, like 3, 4, 5 years old, yeah, Hulk Hogan was great, but I was still a bigger Macho Man fan. When
Yeah.
The Undertaker debuted at Survivor Series, I was an instant fan. Why? Because he was beating up Hulk Hogan. And it was the one guy that was beating up Hulk Hogan. Nobody else was beating up Hulk Hogan. Undertaker was.
You
So
know,
even by the time 92, 93 rolls around, I
mhm.
could see how people that were in the, 92, I'm 9 years old. I could see 12, 13, 14-year olds being like, I'm tired of this dude.
Yeah, and look, when Hogan beat Andre Giant WrestleMania 3, that was his peak. That was the high that Hulkamania
Mhm.
was gonna go.
Yeah.
And after that, it's just downhill. But here was the problem what they did with Hulk Hogan that I still say like it's his fault, but it's not his fault. When Hulk Hogan debuted in the WWE, he was fired by Vince's father because he, for one, Hogan was doing movies, and two, to Hogan's credit, Hogan wanted to be a heel. They didn't want him to be no heel. Even when Vince Jr. brought him back, Hogan wanted to be a heel. Hogan didn't want to be a face. The only reason only reason he became a face is because of Vince McMahon. Because Vince McMahon, wanted him to be this big mega star, this big crossover star, and
Hmm.
he did. But Hogan always wanted to be a heel. And I think
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan was probably one of the few who knew that, hey, if I continue to be a face, just like you said, people are gonna get tired of me. People are gonna start booing me. People are gonna be turned off by me. So in a way, Vince knew that, and that's why Hogan left. But it was a good left for Hogan because he was able to do other things, create TV projects, get away from the wrestling scene. It kind of like when Hogan left wrestling for that period of time. To me, it saved his career. Because
Yeah.
if he would have jumped right, if he when he left WWE or WWF at that time, when he left WWF, if he directly went to WCW, that would have killed his career. By him taking time off away from the ring, uh, away from wrestling, rejuvenate, work on some other projects.
You mean working on Thunder in Paradise?
Yeah, yeah. Him and Macho Man together. Yeah. So once he was able to rehab his character, he was able to fix his character.
Well, the thing with Hulkamania is as long as it goes away for a while, people will always welcome it back.
Yeah,
And that's what happened. He worked on Thunder in Paradise. He worked on like Mr. Nanny and some other movies that he did. Came back, did the Hollywood thing for a short period of time, had the tag team match, Bash at the Beach, and then the whole turn happened. And that right there gave a whole new life for another
decade.
almost 20 years.
Yeah,
I mean, 10 years as the Hollywood persona, but that also gave him time to get the Hulkamania back because now you've had 10 years of Hollywood Hulk Hogan. Now I can come back and get another 10 years with running with Hulkamania again.
it was
Uh,
able for him to reconnect with his audience, but it was able for him to bring in new audience, a
mhm.
younger generation of Hulkamaniacs, and it worked.
But
And
Hulk Hogan is the example of why you need to constantly be bringing up new stars. Hulk
yes,
Hogan, Steve Austin. Steve Austin, the difference is he's very vocal about it now. He tells you, I was protective of my spot. I didn't make friends with anybody, and I was paranoid. He talks about it on the Broken Skulls podcast. I was paranoid of somebody taking my spot. So you take what you learned with Hogan, take what you learned with Austin. Not that Austin was a bad thing, because Austin, if he would have had more time before his body broke down, Austin would be without a doubt the biggest wrestling star in the history of the world.
yes,
That's going to go to Cena because Cena had more time with it. I
yes.
think if Cena would have been Cena back in the 80s, he would have blew Hulk Hogan out of the water. The difference
100%.
is now is that Cena kind of got watered down because social media is so prevalent. You can just search John Cena and find out everything you need to know. Back in the 80s, you had to go see Hulk Hogan. You had to go watch what he was doing to see him. Now it's like I can just Google John Cena and everything's there.
Yeah,
Um, but WWE needs to learn from Hogan. Hogan got to a point where he could call his own shots and do whatever he wanted because the company needed him more than
he
he
needed
needed
them.
them. Because he could go to WCW like he did, get stupid amounts of money, get whatever he wants, and take them to new heights. And I just saw today Triple H actually commented on something me and you have been talking about, how old their top guys are. And he says, yeah, they are pretty old, but what makes me feel good is that we've got all these guys underneath them that are the future. But you're not developing those guys. You have all the 40-year-olds wrestling each other. Why isn't Brock wrestling Carmelo? Just because it's the first name that came off the top of my head. Why isn't CM Punk wrestling Javon Evans? Why isn't Roman doing anything with anybody that's not somehow related to his family?
Right,
Why isn't Cody putting over young guys? They're not.
right.
Like, what are you doing to give back?
If you want the future to take over, the future going needs to wrestle some of your top guys so they can get that experience. I mean, I was talking to someone earlier. You know, WWE got this thing where they want Braun Breaker at a big pay per view to win the title. Okay, what big pay per view? Because it. I mean, the rumor has it you setting up Braun Breaker versus Roman Reigns for WrestleMania. Braun Breaker's supposed to be champion going into WrestleMania. Okay, cool. So
That had best be a street fight or something, because that would be a terrible wrestling match.
right, but see, I had a theory where Seth Rollins is supposed to come back at WrestleMania. Seth Rollins is going to want a rematch with his title. So my thinking is it might be a three-way, a triple threat match. But that's for another conversation another day. But if you want to build up your younger superstars, that like Braun Breaker or Bronson Reed or Carmelo Hayes, you got to put them in position where they can actually go out here and do something. You
Well,
can't
and
continue. You can't continue to hold these guys down.
the part of what bothered me of Triple H talking about it, the only two names he mentioned were Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Now, trust me, I want Bronson Reed. I need his name to be brought up constantly because I have a feeling that he is going to get overshadowed by Braun Breaker. From a wrestling perspective, Bronson Reed can out wrestle Braun Breaker any day of the week. He's got a bigger move set. I mean, cool. Braun Breaker can do a Frankensteiner. You can do a over glorified Hurricane Rana. Basically, anybody can do that.
His spear, he can do a spear.
Yeah, you could do a spear. Cool. They don't have enough faith in you that they've banned the move from everybody else to be able to use it. Again, if that's the future of your company, how many guys do an F5?
Nobody, but Brock.
It does an attitude adjustment.
Nobody.
So why are you letting all these guys run around and do these half-ass spears? And they're bad.
No, it's not even that. Why you letting all these guys do copycat moves where they haven't been creative come up with something of their own?
Well, now you see why I can't stand the Usos. Super kicks, spears, and frog splashes. That's all they do.
The one thing I can say about the Usos, I did like where they changed that they went to the Dudley Boys and they do the 1D as their finisher now. And when they're a team, I like it. But at the same time,
but do you see how
just like you said,
switched too? They went from like borderline beefing with each other to all of a sudden, oh, we're back, we're the boys. Nothing's even happened storyline wise for them to act like that.
Yeah, that's why I was kind of against either one of them being part of the War Games.
Do you know how lopsided? Well, I know obviously you can look at it the same way I can. You look at the Vision team, and then you look at Cody's team. You've got like 5 main eventers on the Vision side. Because I don't care how much anybody hates on Logan Paul, the dude can go.
Before you continue, Triple H even said he's a main eventer and he's going to be a champion soon. So,
he 100% will. But you look at the Vision side, that's 5 people that I'm willing to watch any day of the week. Then you look at Cody's side and you got the Usos. Like, I'm already checked out mentally.
Listen, it's nothing against the Usos. We know they main event WrestleMania twice. Well, Jay, as a tag team and Jay, 100% nothing against the Usos. I like the Usos. I just kind of felt that LA Knight deserved to be one of those spots. That just me personally. LA Knight deserved to be one of those spots. And if you're going to push someone to the main event scene, I kind of let me rewind that because I wanted Jacob Fatu to be in that spot, but fortunately he's out with an injury.
Nothing we could do about that.
Right. So I had no problem Jay being in the match because the way they build him up, main event Jay, they try to make him to one of the top superstars on Raw. All right, cool. But LA Knight is well deserving after 3 years of getting over, probably longer than that, getting over the crowd. Supposed to have been champion numerous of times.
Suffering through Max Dupree.
Where she couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
The guy has did everything he can to get over, not just with the fans, with the company. And you put him in a position where you put him in limbo where he's not a mid-card guy, but you refuse to put him in the main event scene. So now he's stuck in limbo right here. He should be part of War Games.
Sense is Triple H has something against him. That's the only thing that makes sense. You can't say that he's not a good wrestler because you have terrible wrestlers in that match. Roman Reigns is a disgustingly bad wrestler. The Usos are disgustingly bad wrestlers. You got 3 guys on that team that LA Knight can out wrestle any day of the week. And LA Knight is not the greatest wrestler in the world, but he is far better than all 3 of them. He can talk better than all 3 of them. The only thing Jey Uso has going for him is Yeet.
Yeah,
Like, and you don't have this guy in the match, and you've got a tag team. Like, but yet you look at the Vision side, you got Braun, you've got Bronson, you got Logan Paul, Brock. Like, I'm missing one. Who am I missing? Oh, Drew McIntyre.
yeah. What you have on the Vision side is that you have things that kind of make sense. So think about it from this standpoint of once this War Game is over, if you just look at the match card for December or for the Royal Rumble, you got Logan Paul versus CM Punk. You know they're gonna push that, and then you have Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes. We know that's gonna happen again. You got Braun Breaker waiting in the weeds to see when he gonna get his title opportunity. You have Bronson Reed, who the WWE did he wrestle Cody already? I think. And
Yeah, like
yeah,
2 weeks ago.
so we never covered that match. I seen it, and Bronson Reed held his own. So you can see how the WWE's like, okay, well, he held his own against Cody Rhodes. He did good. He didn't need to win. Didn't need to lose either. We just got to see how he looks in the main event. Bronson Reed held his own. Bronson Reed is going to be a champion. We just don't know what champion he's going to be. Are they going to get him the IC title? Are they going to get him? Are they going to put him in the main event scene on SmackDown? So don't count that out because WWE will do something crazy like that. And Brock Lesnar, you know, what I can say about Brock is when Brock came out on Raw, and when he put that hat on Braun Breaker, Brock Lesnar was having fun. This is fun for Brock now. Brock is
He's had
enjoying
a lot of
himself.
fun when he tripped on Monday.
Yeah, he did. Somebody like, hey, that's a botch. In the past, we would all be like, damn, Brock. Brock would probably be pissed or he'd have been shit on, but Brock is having fun right now. A fun Brock is a good Brock to me. So Brock doesn't need to be in a feud with anybody. I'm just glad that the position he in with Paul Heyman, it works.
Again, when we first started talking about War Games and you mentioned Brock, I said no. Brock is one of those guys, he's above a War Games match. He should be having a one on one match with somebody younger. And don't bury him. Have a good match. Let Brock win. But you can make somebody lose, and you know this, I know you do. You can have somebody lose and still look good. Look at
Oh, 100%.
Javon Evans versus Gunther. Javon Evans' stock skyrocketed after that match.
Again, yeah, it did. That was one of his best matches since he been in WWE. He didn't need to win.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Brock can still go out and win a match, but Brock has no problem putting people over to build them up. And that's what should be happening right now. You take one of these younger guys that has potential, your Carmelo Hayes is somebody to that effect, and use Brock to help build them up. Brock can still win, but build them. Instead, nope, we're just going to throw them in the War Games match because we need as much star power as we possibly can.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm just glad that Brock is in War Games. I mean, it made sense from the standpoint of he's back to being a Paul Heyman client, his advocate. It's just different. It's just
It
different
needs to
now.
go that Heyman realizes that Brock is just the guy, period, and goes back with Brock. But I don't think Brock's going to be around enough to make that even make sense.
No, he's not. And the one thing I'm enjoying about this Brock Lesnar run is that Brock don't need to be champion at all.
Mm-mm.
And and for what I'm hearing, that he is cool with that. You know, this is a different Brock Lesnar than we've seen over the last 5 years. No, this is a different Brock Lesnar from when Vince McMahon changed his plan. Instead of him beating Roman, he had him lose to Roman, and Brock Lesnar left Dallas. Well, I should say left American Airlines Center. He did not go to the Hall of Fame. He did not. Think he left because he was pissed because he changed the storyline. So shout out to Vince for messing that up.
I mean, if I was Brock, I'd have left too, because look at the talent level between the two guys.
I mean, yeah, I mean,
There's no
like,
comparison between those two. As much as people want to say that they're on like this level playing field, Brock is worlds ahead of what Roman will ever be.
yeah, and Vince did that because he wanted to skyrocket Roman Reigns on the level of the Hulk Hogan's of the world, but he wanted to use Brock Lesnar in that role to do it, and Brock knew it. Brock was not feeling it, so they took a chance because Brock could easily left Texas, Dallas, Texas, and went back to his farm. He didn't need to wrestle, but he
Hmm.
went through it anyway. That's a different type of Brock.
Well, and
Brock
that kind of
now,
goes with what you were talking about with Bret Hart with professionalism. Like Brock is known to do basically whatever you tell him he's going to do. Like the only real stories of him saying no to something is when he was in New Japan and he had the title, and they wanted him. I forget who they wanted him to drop it to, and he said no. And I forget who it was, but it was somebody he didn't have a problem with him, but he just knew he wasn't good enough. And Brock told him no, and they said, "Well, who would you lose it to?" And he said Kurt Angle, and they called Kurt Angle, and they flew Kurt Angle out to New Japan. And what happened? Brock lost the match to give the belt to Kurt, so that Kurt could hold on to it for a couple months and drop it to somebody else.
mhm.
Like Brock will do business as long as it makes sense. It's also like the Steve Austin thing. When Steve Austin walked out of the company, why did he walk out? Because he got the Raw that day, and they told him, "You're going to lose to Brock tonight."
No,
And as Austin said, I have no problem working with Brock. It's the fact that you wanted me to fight somebody that is on the up and coming that big, and you had no substance behind it. There was no build up, no nothing. Like that's a pay per view match, not a Raw match. And if it is a Raw match, it's a follow up or a continuation to a building feud, not a you're just going to have a match on Raw. Like that's a generating money match that people would pay to see.
yeah. So you can understand why I was shocked when The Rock went through with it and lost to Brock on SmackDown for the title.
Yeah.
So I am looking to War Games, but on a different level of I want to see the I'm sorry. Whew. I want to see the Dominic Mysterio and the John Cena match. I want to see the women war games because I think to me the women war games going to be very, very telling and very interesting. And I say that because I'm gonna go back to it. Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley. We know they had they sit down. We know they somewhat iron some things out, but I think there's when there's smoke, there's fire. There is something there. I think the WWE is trying to, as you said, Jamie, long time ago. Well, not too long ago. Rhea Ripley has nothing to do. She's in purgatory right now. She has nothing to do. You put her in a tag team with Io Sky, and it doesn't make sense. They lost to the Kabuki Warriors. They moved on. The Kabuki Warriors basically moved on from them. So Rhea Ripley is stuck in this situation where she has nothing to do.
Well, Rhea's going to wind up the Rhea EO thing is going to wind up the same way that the Charlotte Alexa thing is happening. They're both going to have blow ups, and the
Yeah,
problem is WWE's dumb enough that they're going to run both those storylines at the same time.
yeah. And if they smart enough, they will build on that tension between Rhea and Charlotte. Let's go ahead. Let's finish this feud between those two. Let's finish it because we talking about this. Being the last time they fought was like 2-3 years ago. I want to say, no, excuse me, about 3-4 years ago when Rhea beat her for the championship. So we know that there is something still there. Now, would the WWE pursue that? Don't know. They should, but we don't know.
No, I wouldn't be surprised if War Games does become the catalyst that blows up both those pairings. I will tell you that if Asuka's side loses, Lash Legend is going to be the one that takes the loss, 100%.
Oh yeah, she yeah newbie.
That's really I think that's the only reason she's in the match is so that they have their pin person.
Yeah.
Everybody else is going to look strong. She's going to be the one that actually gets covered. Um, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if this match is what starts the breakup of Alexa and Charlotte and Io and Rhea. Io and Rhea might last a little bit longer because there's no rifts in that relationship story wise yet. So, but I could see that maybe this is the match where it starts. Um,
And
and I don't think that would be a good spot for either of those two. Not that the matches wouldn't be good; the matches would be good, but what are you really fighting for? There's no jealousy of one being champion and the other one not. There's really nothing there.
nothing at all.
Rhea Rhea needs to get back into a championship picture so that her entire career is not going to get defined against Liv Morgan. Because as it stands right now, it basically looks like Rhea Ripley can't be successful unless Liv Morgan's around.
Yeah, and I hate that. And I also, I know me, you have said this before, but I also, like I said, I be having these off topic conversations on the job with people in the street who are wrestling fans. Um, Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley need to be a team again, because both of them separated are not good right now,
They're
and both of them
finding
together is
WWE has seen massive success with the mixed tag titles. That's something that they should probably think about bringing to WWE. It would generate a little bit of interest. It's something new. I'm still a fan of. They need to have a trios titles in WWE. They need to have a couple more factions. That could be, something that you could have a faction where you do have a Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest in the Judgment Day that have those titles or something. But you're getting a lot of success with Chelsea and Ethan Page. People like it. That might be something that they bring.
but the problem with the mixed tag team is that it's in Triple A.
That's what I'm saying is they would have to bring it to WWE. All they got to do is create titles for it.
Yeah,
It's not like
and
it's impossible.
no, of course
And you
not.
don't have to do it for both shows. You could
It
just
can just
have the
be for
team.
one. Yeah,
Yeah,
just
one.
for the company.
Yeah. And I mean, they're getting more and more broad with this whole thing now of just people showing up on both shows. I mean, look at the War Games thing. They're just bouncing back and forth like it's nothing.
Yeah,
So that's what I would maybe look at doing because they got to do something to spark people's interest, especially on SmackDown.
they've just fired their whole. You know, I heard someone say SmackDown is the worst wrestling show on TV.
Yeah.
I mean, SmackDown was worse than Collision, and Collision was at an all time bottom, but SmackDown surpassed Collision as the worst wrestling show on TV. And look, until two things got to happen. USA is going to have to like, yo, y'all fix this, or
I wouldn't be surprised if USA has already reached out and said like,
fuck y'all doing.
I mean, look at on Monday when CM Punk's like, you're the SmackDown show, you're this, you're that, but like we're on Netflix, we're on Raw, like you can't have your guys doing that unless you're doing like a true brand split like they tried to do years ago. Like you can't have one show downplaying the other show because that's not going to help you at all, and then all it's going to do is piss off USA. And USA's already got to be feeling some sort of way when they see how bad the ratings are, and you can look and tell that they're not trying. They're not trying to put a good show on SmackDown. Right now, it's heating up a little bit, and people say, "Oh, the last couple of weeks haven't been bad." That's because they're building up to War Games. Once War Games goes by, and it's not this whole big mixed tag thing, it's going to go right back to the way it was.
Yeah. And not only that, they added a third hour to SmackDown for God knows reason. And the only reason I'm against it because of what the WWE has been producing on SmackDown. I mean, damn, Road Dog, can you get any worse? Still don't answer that because we know he can. It doesn't make sense to add a third hour. It doesn't make sense for the creative on SmackDown to be this horrible. And again, if I'm USA, I'm doing more than reaching out, man. I'm looking at this contract. Yo, we can just go ahead and part ways. We'll take the hit. It's not worth it. If you're not even trying, I mean, at least Vince McMahon showed some love to USA when Raw was on on there. But if you're not even trying no more, what we
There's a
doing?
lot of things when it comes to wrestling that I very much prefer the way Vince did things compared to the way TKO does things. I hate looking at the mat. First off, this is petty. Not going to disagree that it's not petty. The fact that there's so many advertisements in the ring drives me insane. especially the Riyadh ones. Those ones just irritate me to my core.
Well, we seen that on the boxing mats too. So I mean,
Well, yeah, I mean, it just reminds me of like an MMA match, but like,
mm,
what did Vince do? You might get the occasional advertisement on the ring belt or on the ring
post.
posts, yeah, but that was it. The mat was always clean. And it's just little petty stuff like that. And WWE at this point, they're basically like the prostitute that just shows up and says, "Where's the money? Money's on the counter. Okay, grab it and run." Like they'll do anything to make a dollar.
Yeah, to the point where they're gonna give us about 80 worth of commercials during the wrestling
Well, that's
show.
what the third hour's for. The third hour, you're going to get
We need some
maybe 15
revenue.
minutes. You're going to get 15 minutes of actual programming for another 45 minutes of commercials. That's all the third hour's for.
For a grand total of a 3 hour wrestling show, we might get a good hour 45. No, about a good hour and a half of matches, maybe less than that.
And for USA, it's not a heavy lift because you're on Fridays. It's by that time you're going from what the 10 to 11 spot. They're not airing a new show in that time slot. That would have been a repeat of SVU, most likely. Let's be honest, because that's all they put on repeat anymore. It would
They
have
get
been
more
a
views.
yeah, it would have been a repeat of SVU. So now they're going to get advertising money coming in. So USA probably said, yeah, sure, we'll give you a third hour. WWE's thinking, cool, we can put on two more backstage segment interviews or one match, and we get 45 minutes of commercials that we can get ad revenue from.
It's just
I
horrible.
mean, just like War Games, I'm going to watch it, but there's what, four matches? Because
As,
each one of those War Games matches is going to go 45 minutes minimum.
yeah, as right now, 4 matches.
Yeah. You've got a 3 hour PLE with four matches. Now, the two War Games matches, you've got 10 guys apiece in there. So it makes sense that they're going to run long, but they're going to milk every minute of that. I wouldn't be surprised at all if both those matches were an hour and 15 minutes apiece.
Look, the intro music is gonna be a little longer than that. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
not gonna come out to the same music. Everybody gonna want their own individual. You know how WWE does it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's the biggest thing that drives me nuts with WrestleMania. Like, I get it. You got to have the grandeur and all that kind of stuff with it being WrestleMania, but like, I don't need a 10-minute intro for somebody. Especially when it comes to Seth Rollins, where he's got the parade of guys coming out playing trumpets and everything, and then he comes out with his wacky outfits. Like, no, I'm good. But yeah, every single guy is going to get their own intro, the full come down to the ring, blah blah blah. You're probably going to have 25 minutes of intros.
Yeah, you just killed my dream, my guy. I had dreams of coming down to the aisle and with I had dreams of coming down to the aisle like Edge did at WrestleMania 39.
That's not bad. But I'm going back to WrestleMania a couple of years ago. What was that Seth Rollins? They were, I think it was
Oh, in
New Orleans.
Philadelphia.
Was
Yeah,
it Philly?
yeah,
Okay, I was thinking it was New Orleans for some reason. Yeah, when he had like that whole parade of like the wacky parade of people, and I'm like, what is this? And it went on for like 15 minutes. It didn't stop.
yeah,
But yeah, um, that's the part of War Games I'm not looking forward to. So I'm actually contemplating letting War Games play through and then just watching the replay, so I can just fast forward through. Because there's going to be very little substance.
yeah. I will be somehow, some way, because it's Black Friday and then everybody need their stuff. I'm a,
Amazon always delivers.
yeah, they do. So at some point, I'm gonna fit it in. I'm gonna watch it while I'm working, and like I said, I'm looking forward to the couple matches. I'm interested to see how this is gonna play out. I'm interested to see what's gonna be the build up afterwards, and I don't want to get that feeling where I'm being set up for disappointment. I don't really have high hopes when it comes to WWE because I know they can let you down or they can really let you down. I just want to see good matches, and I just want the story to match the matches. And again, I'm always looking forward to what's going to happen afterwards. What's going to be the build up to a story. So hopefully, War Games will be a good. And I'm looking forward to John Cena and Dominic Mysterio, and I already know that's gonna be a good match.
Again, why isn't John wrestling somebody that's got a chance of doing something? Rey Mysterio. See, I did it too now. Dominic's already getting enough love. Why didn't you take the opportunity to give him a match against somebody else?
It's not the WWE.
I guess I'm forward thinking. It just shows that they fall into their same traps. You're giving all your love to the same couple people. Dominic's already gotten more than enough love. He's already doing enough stuff. He's your technical heavyweight champion in AAA. Like, you could take this opportunity to, again, Carmelo Hayes. Just throwing it out there. What's Carmelo really doing? Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
Hey, you know
Maybe
what's
Penta. You screwed Penta in the last time is now tournament.
uh
Why solo advanced? Come on.
I'm glad you said that before we get up out of here. News on Penta. Penta got injured.
Oh, so
So
he
don't
actually
know the
did hurt his
severity of
shoulder.
Hmm?
He did actually hurt his shoulder.
Yes, he did.
So maybe that was an audible during the match. So I
So
won't mess that up too
but
much.
during that injury, I think him and his brother Ray Phoenix kind of reunited, supposed to be in a tag team match.
Yeah,
And
in AAA.
actually, when I was watching Triple A, they were actually advertised. They were backstage doing a cut of promo as a tag team. They, I think they were supposed to challenge Dominic Mysterio and the knockoff El Grande Americano.
Tyler
So,
Bates and Pete Dunne.
no, the tall one, Ludwig
Oh,
Kaiser.
Ludwig. Yeah.
And speaking of Ludwig Kaiser, this could have been an opportunity that he could fight John Cena for the IC title as Ludwig Kaiser.
He hasn't even wrestled as himself since Chad Gable went out for surgery. Like,
Yes, this would have been a good opportunity to beat himself, wrestle. He should be in the tournament.
should have been. But they won't use him unless he's El Grande Americano, even though Chad Gable was doing double duty.
Yeah, he should be in this tournament. And honestly, if Ludwig Kaiser was in this tournament, I would have him win. Because again, Gunther don't need the IC title. He's your main
Yeah,
event.
it's weird that they're pushing Gunther to win, unless they're just trying to build up this whole like legend killer thing again. That I retired two of the biggest names of all time in the same year. Like,
Don't need IC title for it.
yeah, well, and that's the whole thing is like you're gonna do a tournament, and before John Cena won the IC title, which you knew he was gonna win it before he retired because they're not gonna let him not be a Grand Slam champion.
Right.
But you're gonna have a tournament just for somebody to say, "Oh, I wrestled John Cena's final match." Like, people are going to forget that within a couple months because it doesn't matter. Just like, oh, the last Raw opponent for John Cena was JD McDonough. Nobody's going to care in 2 weeks.
Mm-mm.
So you had to give something significant to give something to carry on with, and that was the IC title. Again, this match should be John not necessarily putting somebody over, but having a really good match with one of these younger guys. But no,
Absolutely.
we're getting Dominic Mysterio again. And I don't have a problem with Dominic. I think Dominic's going to be a great heel. But he's already gotten enough love. You got to spread it out and give people a chance to show you what they can do. And that's what WWE will not do.
So scared of change. So scared of change whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, everybody, that's been the show today. Make sure you guys watch War Games. And make sure you watch Collision. Again, I'm going to say this. Jamie going to say this. Because everybody's saying this. We need AEW to succeed, not to fail, because if they fail, we all gonna be watching WWE, and that's not something y'all don't want. You need AEW to succeed. You need to watch AEW, and I understand a lot of us we criticize AEW for their lack of story, but at the same time, we need them to succeed. We need them to take another level, take this to another level, take another step to being a true number two wrestling company in professional wrestling. We need them to succeed because we need something else to watch. We need something else, other wrestlers to cheer for. It all just can't be WWE. So make sure you watch AEW Collision on Saturday. Tomorrow, watch AEW Dynamite. Swerve Strickland's back, so the show should be getting better. And next, I want to think say January, February. Hopefully, Will Ospreay will be back. So make sure you tune into AEW.
Yeah.
Mm.
I did my whole, ramble on about it weeks ago because I didn't watch wrestling for years. I'd watch WrestleMania, the occasional Royal Rumble because it was bad. Basically, after Hogan and Bischoff killed TNA of what they were doing at the time, I gave up on wrestling because WWE was bad. I didn't know who the New Day was for years. Just as
Yeah,
an example, I didn't know because they came in when I stopped watching because it was bad.
yeah.
TNA
Now,
was terrible. WWE was just as bad, if not worse.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. And now you can't even find a New Day. They not even on TV.
oh,
They not even catering.
they popped on for a hot minute yesterday. I saw them on there for a second. Yeah, yeah, they were there for a hot minute, but yeah, it's a very real thing. You need competition, and that's why I'm such a big advocate of they need to bring WCW back. They've got all of it. You've got more than enough talent. Stop sending them to AAA. AAA will be just fine. They just announced AAA's got a TV deal now.
Yeah,
I saw it right before we started doing the show. Bring back WCW. There's no reason LA Knight wouldn't be one of your big champs over there. You've already got everything that you need. Logistically, I would probably do something similar to what AEW is doing. Do residencies.
mm-hmm.
Hey, we're gonna be here for a month until you build it up enough where you know you've got solid numbers. Then take it on the road if you want. And even then, you don't have to. You could just do a residency. Minimize your logistical costs because gas ain't cheap.
Yeah. Build up your fan base. Build up your wrestlers.
You
Every
already
pay per
have a
view you,
guy that
yeah.
knows how to build a promotion.
Mm-hmm. All your pay per views should be like should be like NXT. It's gonna be at one location until we're at that level where all right, we can wrestle in 10,000 seat arenas. You don't need to be. I always be a big component of you should never be wrestling in 20,000, 15,000 seat arenas. 10,000 is perfect. Um, do that, build it up, build your wrestlers, build your company, build your product, write good stories. Like you said, LA Knight would be the perfect first time champion on the return of WCW if they ever do that. Have LA Knight your champion, or if you don't want to do LA Knight, Bronson Reed. If you don't want to do Bronson Reed, take all the younger guys that who quote unquote the next in line to be the next main eventer, put them in WCW and let them be champion, build it up.
If they don't want to go that route, you've already got NXT up and going. Focus on your LFG show as your developmental and just turn NXT into an official brand and not a feeder system like you use it for now.
I remember when they tried to make that their official brand, but that got killed.
Yeah.
But I'm all for it giving another try because if you give them, I think if they do it this time around, I think it'll be a success. But along those lines, I'll still bring back WCW.
Mm-hmm.
I would if I made NXT their own brand and not a development system. I like you said, make LFG your development system. I would still make. I would still bring back WCW.
I mean, in a perfect world, I'd be bringing back WCW and I would do, like I said, with AEW. Start with residencies. Hey, we're going to be here for a month. Maybe you do it for 2 months, whatever. Build it up in your big wrestling cities New York, Detroit, St. Louis, Dallas, Jacksonville,
Well,
Savannah, Georgia. You've got all those major areas that you could do long residencies in that have the 8 to 10,000 person arenas, and it would be perfect.
I would do their residency in Atlanta because WCW. WCW is huge in the South.
Yeah.
So yeah, like Savannah, Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, or Charlotte, North Carolina, in those areas, yeah. But like we say, continue to support AEW. They need our support. No matter what, they need our support.
Mm-hmm.
So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you on Sunday at the War Games. We're gonna recap what happened, and Jamie gonna tell us why Roman Reigns sucks for the 100th time. When Roman Reigns do the exact same 3 moves he knows, and the super kick. You know what? Before we sign off, I just want to say this, everybody. We always criticize the Young Bucks having a super kick party, but we don't criticize the Usos when they do it.
I've criticized the Usos many times. That is the worst WrestleMania match I've ever seen.
So the criticism, it got to go both ways on that.
And the Young Bucks doing the super kicks, that's because they're just not physically strong enough to do actual wrestling moves.
Yeah, that's true too. That's true too. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching Signatures and Finisher Podcast. DS Walk and Jamie, Tag Team Champions. We're up out of here. Peace. Happy
Later.
Thanksgiving.